Hey, what's up, CAUSENETIC family?
Welcome to the CAUSENETIC podcast.
Hey, CAUSENETIC means being a personal theme that gives rise to a phenomenon that is dynamic or energizing.
We're tackling topics and telling the truth.
I'm Keith Henson.
And I'm Rodrigo Ross.
And so today,
and I'm nervous.
No need to be nervous.
I'm nervous.
Because you're up here with the creator.
Oh, and this is why I'm nervous.
And we got the YMCA Innovation Series. We're going to be talking about esports today with my man, Jaxon Berry, and his nephew, Jaxon. And that's Jaxon.
It's the fancy
Jaxon Berry.
Yeah.
So Chris is with the YMCA Greater Oklahoma District Executive Director. Chris and I have been working together for a minute now around esports.
As the creator? With you being a creator?
Wait, because Chris is on the line.
Because Chris is probably really the creator. Oh, I can't tell the truth in front of the people who actually know. Okay.
There's about 8 of us. There's about 8 of us out there.
8 creators. Wow.
Hey,
let me sure Chris Toynton gets his, he's number one. That's number one.
We like Baptist preachers, we fudge your numbers just a little bit in the name of the Lord. So today, man, we're talking about esports, and it's really been amazing.
Yeah.
I remember partnering with Chris early on days. I came in later in the game. Chris and some others were talking around the country about esports. I said, hey, I was knocking on the door. Can I come in? And play?
The creator is knocking on the door of something that already exists.
But Chris, talk a little bit about the great things that, how you guys got started and then where you guys are now.
Yeah. So, we got started with esports there a lot like everybody else during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. In Oklahoma City, we were sort of lucky compared to a lot of people across the nation. We were only shut down about 6 weeks. And right before that happened, the local university here in Edmond, University of Central Oklahoma, put about $1 million into building an esports arena on campus. And so when they did that, they added a minor degree path there as well. We were like, you know what, we need to be a part of that. And we have a great relationship with that university, from shared facilities that we go and use to, we do a PGA junior golf program, and their golf students actually will come out and do that as part of their curriculum. The teachers wrote it into the program. And so we thought, with this esports thing, they're covering the college age. We really should be in there around that youth age. So sort of got a path set up where it's youths at the Y, the middle school or high schoolers are with the public schools that also use the facility, and then college age with the university. So trying to create that pipeline. But we got started there and was going to use the facility, and then the pandemic hit. So we sort of got put on hold for a little while. And during that time, Heidi had reached out because she had heard, I think, about some of the stuff we were doing with esports, and it all just sort of started snowballing. And they said, hey, do you want to come on and be part of this first cohort? And there was about 8 of us, Keith, I think, that was in that first group, that got started. And so we were actually running both in person at the university and then also participating in the Y's virtual esports league. With League Spot. And so, we got started in there as just an opportunity to reach out to kids. And, not all kids are going to be playing YMCA sports their whole way through. And so we're trying to reach those kids that maybe do not have a place at the Y, or not that they don't have a place, but they just don't fit in with some of our traditional programming. And so one of the things that I'm really proud of that we've done in Oklahoma City over the years is really looked at non-traditional sports too.
Yeah.
That, you don't see at your typical Ys. And so, we've had a youth triathlon series. We do cross country, we do track, we've done golf. We had an outdoor club program. And so the esports just sort of fit that mold of let's try something non-traditional, and saw a lot of kids get interested in it.
I love that. That's
Chris,
excellent.
One of the stats is out there that says that 40% of the households, right, have a gaming console, but yet only 38% of the kids participate in traditional sports. And so
38% of the kids who use the gaming console?
No, 38% of
kids,
period.
Wow.
Participate in physical sports.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of people out there that say, the YMCA is all about, should be about activity, kids being active. But I mean, it's only 38% of the kids is out there that's playing sports altogether.
Right.
And that number is decreasing.
Right.
So, I mean, what do you say to the parent, to the the YMCA professionals that are saying like, should we really be in this space?
You know, I think that there's a misconception of what it is to be a gamer, if you will, or to play esports.
Yeah.
And it's not the kids sitting in the basement, you know, staying up till 4 a.m. playing, drinking 2 liters. I mean,
is that only my son that does that? Because he does.
Well, your son, 6'4", 324. 324. Well, he's gonna be making you some money.
Well, come on then, son.
but you know what? He may go to the NFL. But check this out, though. I got this stat here. When you talk about viewership, guess who's number 2 in the world looking at sports? Folks are looking at esports.
Behind the NFL?
Right. So the NFL has 141 viewers.
Yeah, 141 million
viewers. And then esports, 84 million. So that's above,
that is so
that's
true
above baseball, that's above basketball, that's above soccer, that's above hockey.
I would come home and my son is glued to the TV watching somebody else play video games. And at first I was like, why are you watching that? Right. Like, but it is absolutely a thing. You're right.
And Chris, I cut you off, but you were talking about to the viewership. We were talking about, you know, the naysayers. Let's just call a thing a thing, the naysayers.
Yeah, well, and, you know, with these programs that we've done, we've really learned that there's some physical components that we've introduced. So, I mean, there's stretching and ergonomics you got to look at from while you're playing the game. And a lot of the professional gamers are going to tell you that, you know, rest is critical. You've got to get your sleep. So staying up and playing 23 hours in a day is not good for you.
Yeah.
And they really promote that. So even inside of our programs, you know, there's some moderation to it. You know, you've got to use that discretion as a parent too to watch for that. But it definitely, and I was one of those naysayers probably 5-6 years ago. I was like, video games at the Y, no way, no.
Right.
But I've seen firsthand that it's not what you think it is, and that's made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, it's helping people distinguish. It's not just like watching TV, you know, plopping a kid in front of a TV and letting the TV babysit. Like gaming is a thing. Like
a real thing.
Esports is a thing. It's not just, you know, like I said, plopping a kid in front of a TV and you go off and do something else. Like there are so many skill sets and competencies that these young people, and even my son, right? And for as much as he gets on my nerves with all of that hooping and hollering and jumping up and down, I would venture to say he's getting a lot of exercise the way he's jumping up and down in that room playing those doggone games. The other thing that I know is that he is regularly interacting and interfacing with kids that don't live anywhere near us. And would he have had the opportunity for is almost now one of his really good friends who lives in like Vermont. He would have never met this kid if they weren't gaming. Like he's playing with kids from all over the place, kids across the world where it's nighttime there, when it's daytime here. And would he have had this opportunity to meet and interface with them? No, had it not been for gaming.
And, you know, and I'd even go outside of the virtual side of it. I mean, we're a big proponent of, we bring these kids to these campuses, they get to see the campus, they're in the room with the kids. So while they're playing, they're getting all types of the interaction that you would see in a traditional sport. So they're talking, they're having fun. There's some friendly trash talk every once in a while to keep it going. So, you know, as we truly look at spirit, mind, and body, like it really can encompass all 3 of those areas to make these kids.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, you know, and we started off at one campus at UCO in Edmond. We're now also doing sports at Oklahoma City University with their lab. Oklahoma State, we're coming online there this fall. And then we've got a couple more that we're talking to right now. So, I mean, by the end of fall, first of winter, we could be at 5 universities using their esports labs for our kids to participate. And so now we're introducing that to them at the higher level. And what's really great are these labs have got the broadcasting studios, they've got the green screens, they've got programming options. So it's not just playing. Like you may just love esports, but you're not a good player, you don't want to play. But there's other sides that you can learn of this stuff. So there's a lot of additional things that come from it that you just don't think of when you see video games. And you know, we posted that on our Facebook. We're doing the registration for all our fall sports. And, you know, you still get people that get on there and mock the esports thing and call that. And it's like, you know, you just don't know what you don't know.
Right. Because what you're talking about right now is a pathway to college.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. There's all types of scholarships out there. And then, even post-college. I mean, there are some kids that are going to find their passion and follow a career path in this.
Yeah.
So we're just introducing it to them at a younger age and helping them find that passion.
Yeah. And that's what it's really all about, because I think sometimes people forget, yes, the YMCA does sports, and yes, we do aquatics and health and wellness, but those are really just the vehicles. At the core, what we do is we help people build relationships.
Yep.
And so the way we do it can change. It could stay relevant. It could morph. It could look different from place to place. And so esports is just another vehicle, another mechanism for us to do what we do at our core, is help kids build relationships.
And we just got to get past that. We got to get beyond that whole part of the video game, because I like the way you put it there, to the core. What is it to the core?
At the core
that we do. And I remember talking to a granddad about his son, and as soon as I said esports, he said, nah, you spend a little bit more. I said, okay, hold on for a second. I said, let's talk about this thing a little bit, right? But as I built it out, he was like, you talk about skill development and the relationships, like, that kind of makes sense. And, okay, you know what? Let me tell him more about it.
And the thing is, we get caught up trying to prepare young people for the realities that we had at their age, and the careers and the opportunities. But the reality is, if you get them proximate to esports and you get them proximate in the collegiate space, that's their reality. I can imagine that when the car first came out and people were trying to learn how to drive the car, the people who had horse and buggy said, don't tinker with that thing. What you meant? I wasn't there, King.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And when the cars wasn't invented, I wasn't there. But I'm just imagining that people who drove horse and buggies was like, what is that thing? You don't need to learn how to master that thing. You don't need to learn to drive that thing, because their reality was horse and buggy, and that's what they saw as their future. Whereas younger folks was like, no, this is the way of the future. I'm going to learn how to drive this thing that doesn't require me to feed it, or it has to go to the bathroom every now and again.
I'm just thinking back to middle school, and like, I'm not sure when Atari came out, but that was like the first. He
dug in the archives. Chris, did he just say Atari?
It's okay. I had an Atari. Pitfall was my game, and it still is.
What?
I still love Pitfall on the Atari.
But if you think about, our age group, and then comparison, you take it back to middle school, and comparison to the middle school of today, worlds are different. So we couldn't even envision esports being what it is today back when we were in middle school. And that just tells you that times change.
Yeah.
And so those who still have that barrier up in front of you,
you got to get past that.
Yeah, because the world has changed.
When you were playing your 8 tracks back in the day, you had an 8-track then. Did you imagine that we wouldn't even need a device? You would just pull music out the air, out the cloud? You didn't know that when you was playing your 8-track. I got you there, didn't I?
You still got one.
8-track, whatever.
Hey, well, look, we've been talking all about esports, and from our space right here, let's talk to a real gamer. Can we bring my man Jaxon to the stage here?
Real gamer.
Jaxon Berry is one of our gamers out in Oklahoma, and we want to talk to him about his experience that he's had with esports. I mean, it's pretty incredible that, we got this esports stuff going on all over the country.
All over the country.
When we talk about the YMCA pilot that we had, 8 different associations that come together, and then we built that out. And so now people from all over the country are calling on us to be able to talk about putting esports in. And you hear Chris talk about it. Chris talked about how he is doing them in colleges.
Yeah.
Here in
building
Dallas,
a pipeline.
We started off in the virtual space.
Mm-hmm.
We got Trish Fontel. She is up in, I think, Pennsylvania, and she is doing it. They just built they're
building a wide space,
partnering with an organization.
She's been on the podcast too. Hey, Trish.
Yeah. And so it's so many different ways that people are doing the esports. And the challenge that I will put out there, especially to our YMCA professionals who are listening, is start this today. There's no reason to wait.
You have to start this today.
There's no reason to wait.
Because the technology changes so quickly, and things are going to be so different the longer you wait. I suspect the more difficult it will be. And the market will be saturated. It's almost to the point of saturation now. So you got to do, if we really are about, like we said earlier, getting at the core of what we do, which is helping build relationships, then we have a responsibility to reach the other 68% of kids who are not coming to our wide traditional sports to engage them and help them.
This is a core part of youth development.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about esports, and we're talking about the actual plan part, the other component to that is that how do we build in, as we talked about just a moment ago, the pathways to college? How do we talk about developing
different careers,
different skill sets? And so when you play a game, let me just help walk people through some of this. Some of this is that you got to have critical thinking. You got to have problem solving. You got to have creativity. Those are all good skills that you need in order to perform well in any job.
And I would suspect that you have to understand how the games are played in order to be the person who creates the games, who creates the codes for the games, who creates the graphics for the games. And so all of that are career options as well.
Hello, Jaxon. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, Jaxon. Good.
Man, I've heard some great things about you and playing games. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience in playing esports with the YMCA?
I learned to be a good sport, have a good time, and be happy whether I won or lost.
Oh,
yes, sir.
You know what? That is very important because I noticed that, unfortunately, some kids, they don't get the opportunity to learn that lesson, right? Like, there are going to be times in life where you don't win, right? But it's okay. You're still a great person. You're still really skilled. You're still really handsome. Jaxon is so handsome. He's so handsome. And so just to learn that skill, that's so exciting. What's your favorite game?
Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Bros. Okay, now I didn't create. Keith says he created esports. I don't know how true that is. So you have to tell me about Super Smash Brothers. What do you do in Super Smash Brothers?
Well, I get to play that game with other people, and I get to make friends with other kids that like the same games that I do.
Nice.
Awesome. Nice.
I love
now,
that.
Now, Jaxon, did you win some prize at some point playing Super Smash Brothers?
Well, I won a trophy. It's in my room. I won it at during the summer last year.
Oh,
nice.
And I won 4 medals over the past 2 years.
4 medals?
Did you get any trophies or medals, Keith?
I didn't get any trophies or medals.
From one medal with leaves all over it, all the way to the one that's kind of shaped like a white diamond.
Wow.
It's not all white.
So were you excited when you won the trophies and the medals?
Yep.
Yeah, I bet. I'm excited for you.
So, Jaxon, what excites you about playing esports?
It's a great place to have fun playing video games and be out of the house.
That part, right?
Nice.
And meet your friends. You have a lot of friends that you play esports with?
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. Do they all live near you or are they from all over the place?
They're probably from all over the place.
Wow, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
What type of skills do you learn or do you have to have in order to play Super Smash Bros. Really well?
Well, it kind of depends on which moves the characters have.
Oh,
okay. What is that? Tell me a little bit about that because we got a lot of people that listen to our show. They don't know what Super Smash Brothers, so we need to depend on you.
Well, there's the up special move, down special move, just a normal special move, and the left one and the right one.
Okay.
And then there's the final smash. If you smash and punch that smash ball until it breaks, and then you show that your opponent's who's boss.
Nice. Who's boss?
First of all, how in the world do you remember all these moves? How do you know when to use a good move?
Because I've been playing on it a lot, but I haven't played it recently since.
And Jaxon, tell our listeners how old you are.
13.
13. Aww. Okay.
Nice.
And you've been playing Super Smash Bros. For how long?
2 years. 2 years.
2 years, and you've won all those awards. That's pretty impressive, man. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Man. Well, Jaxon, it was great talking to you, man. Thank you for coming on to the show. Yes. Can you bring Mr. Chris on back and tell him, let's talk to him a little bit more?
Good luck. Win some more medals and trophies. I love it. Jaxon says that most of his friends that he plays with aren't from Oklahoma City. Wow. Right. And so he's getting to make friends and talk. First of all, I still don't understand how he's keeping. I don't know when to use the left, the down, the across. You don't know either. So don't look at me like that, Pete. You don't know.
Okay, I don't either. That kid will beat me every single time. Every single time.
Which move to use? Like, I don't have a clue.
Well, Chris, tell, if you don't mind, can you share with our listeners a little bit about Jaxon and what his esports has done for him?
Nice. Yeah. So Jax, as he said, he's 13. So he's eighth grader here in Oklahoma City. He started coming to the Y. I've been at the Y 22 years. And so, when he was born, we started bringing him here, child watch. Yeah. He hit age 3. I started coaching his T-ball team. And he played Y Sports with us up until the time he's about 6 or 7 years old. And then it got to the point where it was just a little bit too fast paced for him. And, when you have kids running at you in soccer and basketball, it was a little different for him versus like T-ball and baseball. And so he did our Y day camps, but he just sort of aged out and was that place where it didn't fit him. And so in the fall of 20, his sister, he's got a younger sister and a younger brother. They both played Y soccer, and he wanted to get into an activity. But with the fall sports, we had soccer and volleyball and football. Those didn't mesh for him. But we started the in-person esports. And so talked to my sister. I said, hey, we've got this. I think you got to give it a try. So he gets in there and tries it. And Jaxon has autism. But he got in there and he found a passion. He loves it. He gets to go and play against kids. They sit across from each other because, as he said, Smash Brothers is his favorite game. Mm-hmm. So they're sitting across from each other head to head, talking and playing. That first season, I think he won one match that entire first year, and that was in the fall. By the summer, he actually won our local Smash Brothers tournament. It just clicked, and I get a picture from my sister at the arena, him standing outside with the championship trophy, and I'm like calling him like, why has he got that trophy? And she's like, he won the tournament. And like, I had no idea that it was like, he was ready for that. And, it just, you go back to those kids that we may not be reaching with our traditional sports.
Yes.
Esports reached Jaxon.
Yes.
He's found his place. He's there every season playing. He loves it. And so it just is an opportunity for him that had we not had it, he was sort of done with the Y. He'd sort of aged out of stuff that he, could participate in. So as an uncle, it makes me smile. I mean, that kid is
smile, man.
Making me smile.
I'm sitting up here about trying to hold one back, boy.
Went on about he had the trophy and he had the medals. You could see how proud of himself he was, and you could see that the YMCA kind of had a hand in just helping this baby discover who he is. Like, I wanted to hug him. I was like, why we can't be right there in Oklahoma City? I want to hug him.
And so when we talk about esports, we talk about really this kind of leveling out the playing field of sorts in terms of participation of young people. Yeah. So we're not talking about how fast you can run or how much weight you can lift. We're not talking about, well, you don't have a disability. Everybody can play.
Yeah, that resonates with me, right?
It doesn't matter. Yes. And so when these naysayers, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get on the soapbox for a second.
Here we go. Get him, Reverend Vincent.
When these naysayers come out to say that, esports, hey, that was when you were a child. Yeah. We're talking about a whole different era right now. We're talking about trying to reach someone like a Jaxon and so many others. I'll give you one story. We had an internship with a high school student, young lady, 10th grader, introvert to the fullest. I mean, when we were talking to her, we were online and she was talking about at this tone right here, and, and she was supposed to give a presentation. And I'm saying to myself, is she really ready to give a presentation? Man, 10 minutes later, I'm in the room, and she's giving a presentation. Yeah, guys, and this is what you need to do. I mean, the confidence level just lit up the place. And so miss me when you talk about, kids don't need to play esports. We're introducing a whole new world to these young people and a pathway possibly for a career, possibly for college, but at least what we do know for sure is a high level of confidence.
Good job, Reverend Vincent. For me, that definitely sparks from the diversity and inclusion, which so many wives during the pandemic, made these verbal and these written statements and these commitments to being intentional about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, this is inclusion. This is belonging at its best, creating the spaces for those kids who, unfortunately, and we didn't mean to do it as an organization, but we othered them, right? Like, y'all are the other kids who don't fit into our regular menu of things. And what does that say to a kid subliminally when they can't find them their place in a place that says they're for all? But when we keep creating, these opportunities for kids to find their space, not who we're trying to make you out to be, who you are. In the spaces, then man. Oh, Jaxon won my heart.
Jaxon, get on the soapbox here.
I love Jack. You first of all, you need to get a photographer out there because Jaxon need to be on all y'all promo and marketing material because he's so handsome and he's an actual player and winner.
Yeah,
Jaxon on some pictures. I'm buying whatever Jaxon is on. I'm buying it. I'm getting food.
We on Team Jaxon, man.
Team Jaxon.
I love it.
With the X now, with the X.
With the X, don't forget it. Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Man, Chris, man, thank you, man, for allowing him to be up here.
Yes, thank you for sharing him.
And hopefully folks have got a different perspective of what esports is all about and what it can bring. This true level of confidence in young people, unlike anything else. And
esports, not now, right now.
And I'm gonna go back to one statement that you made is that at some point he was done with the Y from the perspective of we didn't offer something for him to be able to continue.
Right.
And so
was he done with the Y or was the Y done with him? Right. We were done with you because we didn't think to offer anything that really spoke to and included you.
Well, now we have the answer. It's called esports.
It's called esports.
And thank you again, Chris, for being up here. Hey, podcast. Thank you guys for listening to CAUSENETIC.
On this episode in the Innovation Series featuring Chris Berry and Jaxon Berry talking about esports.
Hey, look, subscribe and listen to us weekly.
Hey, don't be shy. Give us a 5-star review.
And as always,
be dynamic,
be phenomenal,
be CAUSENETIC.